Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Class. Scott coming back at you here for day 4 of 4 for community restoration in the church. Today's devotional is entitled Transformed Thinking. The mission of revitalizing and transforming communities begins with the individual, along with the foundational truth, what a man thinks, he becomes. To put it another way, one's behavior is controlled by one's thoughts. If one's thought life is changed, the person is changed. Changed individuals transform families, and transformed families restore the communities. That sentence, in my opinion, is a huge, huge sentence for where we are in the United States today. There is an aggregation, a thought of an aggregate change that needs to happen, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. But I think the core family that has kind of dissipated over the past 20 to 40 to 50 years is something that our society and our nation as a whole needs to reflect on and try to work hard to build back together. If we can rebuild that nuclear family unit, it will help, in my opinion, go a long way toward rebuilding our society in a positive way. Sidebar, sorry. This is DrTEvans again. He says, I am living proof of this. Urban Baltimore has one of the lowest graduation rates in the country. I remember what it was like to try and learn at a school that was understaffed, had teachers who were overworked, lacked supplies, and had little motivation to teach. I remember not being able to see beyond my current reality. It wasn't until my parents and my mentor opened my eyes to something better that the idea of college came to me. While my high school grades didn't reflect that of a student with much of a future, I still went on the belief instilled in me, and I later graduated from college with academic honors from seminary and was the first black to graduate with a doctoral degree from Dallas Theological Seminary. But that was because I had people in my life urging me to see beyond my own limited perspective. They saw something in me even when I could not, and am a better man today because of it. Individuals are changed and communities are transformed when people invest in others and help them look beyond what they currently see. As the church offers tangible social services, it gives people glimpses of what their lives and communities could be. And Tony asks a couple of questions. How could you invest in somebody else and help them to see a life beyond their current circumstances? I suspect that if we all sit down and think for just a few minutes, probably not many, we would come up with maybe a list of names, maybe not a list of names, but at least a name or two of someone that might fit into that category. Tony goes on to say here, we hope this plan has encouraged you. And then there's just a little passing greeting. But I want to go ahead and read the scripture, and we'll carry on the conversation from there. First of 4 scriptures is Proverbs 23, verse 7. For he is the kind of person who is always thinking about the cost. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. Romans 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Something I continue to strive to work on and really kind of struggle with is some verse memorization. And it's not that I can't, I'm not capable, but it's finding the verses that I need and want to recall and memorizing not only the verbiage but the scripture reference as well and tying all that together. Third of 4 is Philippians 4, verse 8. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things. That's a verse that everyone should have tattooed across their forehead so everyone around them can see it, because it's really a positive, uplifting, in my opinion, positive and uplifting verse. And the final verse in this short series is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5. We demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. Trust and obey, learn and obey, remember and obey, all of those things. So it's been a short series, but Dr. Evans has a lot of really good insight. Because he's a pastor, because he's black, he can provide some perspective that we all need. Something that I kind of feel urged to talk about at this point is that I had an opportunity on a chance encounter to visit with a black man about a week and a half ago, and he was telling me after after about a 45-minute conversation, I chuckled because that happened. It was the Monday that there were phone problems with T-Mobile customers, which we are. And so my daughter-in-law was trying to get a hold of me because I should have been home within about 10 minutes. And he and I struck up this conversation, and we were talking for probably 45 minutes to an hour. But anyway, everything was fine. But I was able to gain some perspective on someone in the black community that I really didn't know, so he had no reason to tell me um, uh, anything that wasn't true. He is a believer. We established that early on in the conversation somehow. And I just asked him, how are you doing in this COVID situation and all these racial tension situations? And he kind of opened up to me briefly in that conversation. I'm hoping to have further conversation with him. We just haven't been able to schedule a time to sit down and get together again. But the net result was told me of a couple of situations where strictly because of skin color, for no other reason, he had been detained by police, pulled over by police. That's not true. In one case, he was pulled over and detained. In another case, he was just standing in line at Josh's Snow Shack over here at 71st and Garnett, and police came up to him and his brother-in-law. They were two of them together, and asked him some questions, and he he said they indicated to him that they matched a description of somebody that they might need to be looking for. So whether that's true or not, who knows? Who knows? But the other situation, he was driving along and got stopped. He was told he ran a stop sign. He says, "I have to be honest with you. I may have. I don't think I did, but I don't know for sure, so I can't say one way or the other. But they did stop me." And he said after about 45 minutes, they called the drug sniffing dogs out to the car where he was, where they were, and of course they never found anything. But he said, I don't think had I been of another skin color that would have happened. I don't know that for sure, but so just somebody a chance encounter that got to give me a little bit of change of perspective. Wow, my tongue is tangled this morning. Uh, anyway, I don't know if any of that's helpful, but it did help me kind of start to see things a little bit differently from some thoughts and ideas that I have. I think sometimes, I don't know if white privilege is the right word, but there's a white bubble because I don't, because I'm not of a toned skin color, at least not until summertime late, not near as toned as I used to be in terms of color or body mass for that matter. Uh, I don't have to worry about some things that they do. I've heard people talk about giving their children the talk, and that is not the talk that we think of in terms of the sex talk. They literally have had situations where black families give their children the talk about what to do when they encounter police. Uh, Now, I think in some cases the talk that they discuss is different from one family to another because I've heard people talk about act respectfully, keep your hands on the wheel, do what they say. And I've heard other people talk about they're going to be mean to you, they're going to mistreat you, and you need to get away from it as fast as you can, which I don't think is appropriate. All this to say, my perspective has changed a little bit in the last 2 to 4 weeks, and I'm hopeful that I can carry on some conversations and learn more as I go forward. We are all created in God's image, and we are all God's children, no matter where we came from, no matter our background, no matter what we've done or what we haven't done. And so we all deserve that chance. We all deserve an opportunity to be better and do better. And it is up to us individually and as families to take advantage of those opportunities. And so hopefully everybody will learn some things as we work through this difficult time in our nation. Any rate, that's my 2 cents worth. We're about 10 minutes long here in this video, and that's probably way too long, but hope this finds you well, and we will be talking to you soon. Thanks, guys. Have a great, this is Thursday already, so apologies for being a day or two late. We'll try to get another video out here later in the week, and if not, we'll get one out next week. Um, and hope everything works well, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.